Welcome. You're listening to The Aligned Self, Conversations in Creating a Conscious and Abundant Life. This is Daniel Denovi. I'll be your guide and host. Let's see just where we can take this. Hello, friend, and welcome into this Quotable Monday. In this episode, I'm going to talk about a quote that I've often used in my workshops to illustrate just how easy it is to manifest. Now, Abraham talks about it this way. She says, it's as easy to manifest a castle as it is a button. And what that speaks to is the idea that small things are no different than big things, but only in how we hold it in our mind. Typically, when we picture something big, something, let's say a large sum of money or something, we just figure out that there's more steps involved. It's harder. We have beliefs that get in the way. And if we can connect with something that's simple to manifest, something that's easy, something that we have a ready reference for, then you can utilize that experience and project forward into another arena. Let me demonstrate. The quote that I typically use is about eating out, and I say it like this. I once had dinner at Johnny's Pizzeria. It was a dream, and I made it happen. I'll say it again, just for effect. I once had dinner at Johnny's Pizzeria. It was a dream, and I made it happen. This quote speaks to the whole process that most people have ready reference for. At some point in your life, you've gotten hungry and you've gone out to a restaurant or you've fulfilled on that desire to satisfy that hunger. And so, as usual, I'm not just going to leave you with that idea. I'm going to drill down a little bit deeper, a little bit more granular, and kind of pick this whole thing apart and create some distinctions that we can refer back to. So, I can remember one day feeling hungry. And then almost in the next moment, I can remember thinking, pizza sounds really, really good. So here I am, I have a desire, I have hunger. And almost immediately there was a manifestation that took place. There was a download that pizza would be the ideal way to satisfy that desire. And not only any pizza, but pizza from Johnny's Pizzeria. Now, I want to contrast this with the idea that at some point in your life, we've gotten hungry and we think, I don't know what I want to eat. And so immediately we have a desire, and then almost immediately we associate it with resistance. I don't know what to eat. I don't know how to satisfy this. I have no idea. And then you start going down the list of different restaurants you go to, different things you have in your pantry, different things you have in your fridge, and nothing really sounds good because you are in the belief that you don't know what you want to eat. So in response to that, nothing really sounds good. And so in our resistance, we start thinking, what's the easiest way to fulfill on this? We start thinking about action. You know, if we act on this, how can I fulfill it quickly and easily? And oftentimes we pick a choice that is less than satisfying. We order our mind around expediency. We start searching our environment. What is close at hand? What is low-hanging fruit? And you might pick something out of your pantry or out of your fridge that is less than desirable as far as health and fulfillment, but it might satisfy that initial hunger. And as a consequence, you might grab that bag of chips, or you might grab something that's easy to eat, that maybe even stop at McDonald's or Burger King or some other fast food joint, only to eat it and then not feel all that wonderful 20, 30 minutes later. And you think, oh, I wish I wouldn't have ate that. No, maybe that's only me that has done that or made that type of decision, but I'm venturing a guess that at some point you too found yourself in that situation. But going back to my original line of thought, I was hungry and immediately I received a download that in that particular circumstance, pizza at Johnny's Pizzeria would satisfy my desire. And then I began thinking about the pizza at Johnny's. I began thinking about the tangy tomato sauce and the melted cheese and the pepperonis. feeling my mouth salivate as the possibility of fulfilling this desire at Johnny's began filling my mind, and I began thinking about eating a piece of that pizza and how good it would taste. And I have to tell you, it was only maybe 5 minutes before I was inspired to take action, to get in my car and drive to Johnny's. And while in the car, still thinking about how amazing this pizza was going to taste, how satisfied my palate was going to be, I was anticipating and expectant that my dream would be fulfilled once I arrived. Once I arrived at Johnny's and was seated, I spoke my intention into the universe right in the ear of the waitress. I said, I am so hungry. I want a large pepperoni with mushroom and yada, yada, yada. And the waitress replied, Sir, I'll have that out to you as soon as possible, but I have to tell you there's going to be a short delay because our kitchen is backed up a little bit. We've had a large order for some party, and whatever the excuse was. But she said this. She said, while you're waiting, I will bring you out an antipasta salad. And I said, oh, fantastic, because the antipasta salad is the second favorite thing of mine on the menu. Within short order, she brought out that salad. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And just as I was finishing it, she brought out the pizza. She said the cook was able to process your order faster than I thought, and your order is now ready. So I thought I was in heaven because the salad was the perfect primer for the meal to come. The pizza looked amazing, smelled amazing, and it tasted amazing. I once had dinner at Johnny's Pizzeria. It was a dream, and I made it happen. Now, when we talk about dreams and intentions, eating out or having pizza doesn't seem like that big a deal. But it has all the elements, whether you think pizza is healthy or not. In that moment, it was the most satisfying thing for me to eat. So whatever your judgment is around pizza, and I have a different point of view on pizza today than I did years ago. But that experience of ordering that pizza, fulfilling on that desire, has all kinds of implications as far as manifesting and fulfilling and attracting what you want. I had an intention. I had a desire. And the universe gave me inspiration, gave me an urging, gave me an impulse to help satisfy or move me in the direction of fulfilling on that intention, on that manifestation. And then I aligned myself emotionally, mentally, physically with the fulfillment of that intention. I thought about what it would feel like, taste like, to eat that pizza, to taste the cheese, melted cheese with the tangy tomato sauce, all coalesced with the pepperoni and the mushrooms. Thinking about it, it was so real to me. It was as if I was already eating the pizza. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And so I was aligned with the fulfillment of that desire. And then I took inspired action. I got in my car and I drove there, continuing to have the feelings of fulfillment, the feeling of anticipation that it was just a matter of me catching up with my vision, my dream. And then once I actually spoke my intention out into the universe to the waitress, I never expected not to have the order fulfilled. There was no doubt that it would not arrive at my table. There was a little delay, but I got an antipasta salad. So I was in alignment. The universe was already supporting me while I was there. I got the salad. It was amazing. And I got my pizza quicker than I thought I was going to because I had given up the expectation that it would had to arrive at a particular time. You see, this little experience had all the elements of manifesting something from nothing. But where most people get hung up is that they think big things are harder to create, harder to manifest than little things. Pizza is somewhat little. And as Abraham-Hicks puts it, it's no more difficult to create a castle than a button. They are the same process. It's only in our thinking we get more hung up about creating something big or something that we have had past resistance on, and we create or recreate that resistance, thinking that it must be hard, that it must be more difficult, there's more steps involved. How can I expect this to come easily? Well, let it be easy. What would your thinking be like if you were to allow whatever your intention is to be easy, to be fulfilled easily and gracefully in a shorter period of time than you can conceive of at this moment? Whenever I've gotten hung up in my mind on the idea that some intention, some desire is more or might be more difficult, a little bit harder, a little bit further out of my reach than something else, I remember that I once had dinner at Johnny's Pizzeria. It was a dream, and I made it happen. And I say the prayer, God is all it is. Help me realize that this is already fulfilled. Help me realize that this is a done deal. Help me realize that this is easy. And then sometimes I also say that quote from Abraham-Hicks, it is no more difficult to create a castle than a button. It's easy. It's all the same steps. I just lean into the direction of the fulfillment of my desire, and I leave the rest up to the universe. Now, how you can use this, and you may not use the reference of going out to eat or fulfilling on some hunger that you might have. Maybe there's something else that you consider a dinky-do thing, but you know that you manifest it, whether it's a penny on the sidewalk or a parking spot or some other seemingly small thing. Remember the steps that were involved. There was a sense of non-attachment, meaning that you weren't necessarily attached to the having it fulfilled in a particular time. You weren't focusing on the need or the lack. You threw out the intention and you just assumed that it would show up. There is a sense of assumption. There's a sense of expectation. There's a sense of anticipation that, of course, the universe will fulfill on this. And it's going to happen in its own time, which is usually when you least expect it and not when you're looking for it. So that's what I mean by non-attachment. So there's some experience that you have, and you can use my restaurant experience that has been a dinky-do or something small in your experience, and just think of that as the example that you can use to create something bigger. Wouldn't it be so fun to allow the universe to fulfill on an intention of $10,000 or 10,000 euros or whatever, the amount that you want, as easily as my pizza or as easily as a parking spot? It is that easy. They're the same thing. It's only, you can ask yourself, how am I making this more difficult? Am I willing to give up the idea, to let go of the idea that this is anything but easy? Well, that's it for this episode. Until next time, this is your friend and host, Daniel Danovi, urging you to follow your bliss. Live your life from inner signals. Be inner directed as you engage in the epic adventure.